It makes it harder for those women to find a good husband. And the adult industry in and of itself is immoral. And the acts that it influences men to do, like masturbation, I think that those things aren't good for men and conducive for the masculine essence of men. But I would say those two arguments, but I have many more. But let me go ahead and get your position on why you think that it shouldn't be banned.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think into it as deep as you have, clearly. So kudos to you for thinking it out. My main idea was essentially that, that sexuality is probably a woman's most valuable asset. And if she wants to use it to find success in the world, there's always an opportunity cost for everything. So yeah, she may be giving up potential more intimate relationships or these other type of things. But I mean, we do live in a free country where we're able to decide what we want to let go of and what we want to pursue. And if a woman wants to pursue making money off of her sexuality, I don't know why that would be something that would be illegal or banned in any type of way.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you have a daughter?
I do not.
Hypothetically, if you did have a daughter, would you be okay with your daughter starting OnlyFans at 18?
No, I would obviously prefer she didn't.
And why would you prefer that she didn't?
Just because that's a good question. Just because I've been raised with the idea that, because I do believe that it's valuable, but I do think people should be free to use their value the way they would like. So I wouldn't want her to not have the option, but I would want her to choose the other way.
Okay, so if your daughter was you want her to have the option, but you want her to choose the other way. So, okay, I get what you're saying. So you want your daughter to have certain options. My next question would be, would you want to restrict certain options from your daughter? Do you think that that's okay to restrict certain options from your daughter?
Not at 18, no.
Not at 18. So because she's an adult, you mean?
I mean, as far as we can establish collectively that she's an adult, obviously that's up for interpretation as well.
Fair enough. So basically, once she's an adult, she's 18 years old, she's legal to do these things. You think that it's okay for her to then, create an OnlyFans and do that if she wants. That option should still be on the table.
Yeah, I believe that option should be on the same table, just like she can go buy a pack of cigarettes. Obviously, I'd hope she wouldn't go pack of cigarettes or go, do a lot of things that you can do at 18 that, or even 21.
Okay.
That you.
Would you try to fight for her to rent a car at 18? You think that we should change that?
Fight for what? Well, I don't think so, because based on the statistics, younger drivers are obviously more dangerous, right?
Correct. Yeah. Based off of the statistics, that's what I was getting to. So based off the data that we have, younger drivers are more likely to get into accidents. Based off of the data that we have, women sexualizing themselves on OnlyFans or in the adult industry, they're more likely to either end up not married or end up being in multiple divorces. So that's based off of that data. And I do think that you would want your daughter to be married to a dutiful husband, that knows, that's going to protect and provide for her and things of that sort, right?
Again, I mean, I would prefer what's best for her, but again, I can't insist. She can't choose what's best for her if she doesn't have the option to choose what's not best for her.
Got it. She can't choose what's best for her? That didn't make any sense.
Well, you have to have contrast. I can't make the right decision if the potential to make the wrong decision doesn't exist.
Can you explain?
Well, you have to have a choice.
Can you demonstrate that?
I have to have this or that to make a choice, right? So I can either drink a cup of water or, I can not drink a cup of water. If not drinking a cup of water isn't an option, then I have to drink a cup of water. There's no choice. It's just,
no. Can you demonstrate how the right or wrong choice? Because you can just have multiple right choices. instead of a wrong choice and a right choice. You can have multiple good choices that can produce good outcomes, and you can get rid of the other choices that wouldn't produce good outcomes.
What's the choice then? So like that's what I'm saying. The right choice would be a departure from the wrong choice, right?
So no, we're speaking about choice here. So you said that my question is simply you said that, well, you can't make a right choice if you don't have a wrong choice, a contrast of that to make the right choice. That's what you said.
Right. So you have to have the positive action and the negative action available in order to have a choice to begin with. I can't choose.
No, that's untrue. Can you demonstrate that?
Can you demonstrate the opposite for me?
Yeah, I just did. You can have two right choices and no wrong choices. You can have two good outcome choices.
Well, then it's not the right. You're not making the right choice. If both choices are right, it's not a choice. You're just doing right no matter what.
Wait, what are you talking about? Choice? Do you know what choice is?
Yeah, choosing between options, right?
Choice is choosing between options, not choosing between right or wrong options. It's just options. So you can have options on the table, and all of the options produce good outcomes.
All right. Well, let me ask you something. If it's right for me to, let's just say there was two right choices in front of me, which one would be the right choice?
Okay, so that's a different question, though. You know that, right?
That's what I'm trying to get at. Is that
but that's not what you said.
In order for something to be considered the right choice,
that's a different argument. You didn't make that argument before. I'm active listening to everything that you said.
No, that's fine, but that's what I'm trying to say is that like the right choice implies that you didn't make the wrong choice. You basically had the option to do something wrong, but you made the right choice instead. So like here I have the option to go do drugs right now, but I'm making the correct choice not to do those.
No, that would still be incorrect too. I could demonstrate that as well. So your argument is if you have two right choices, then how do you know that the choice is right if, how do you know which one is right if there are two right choices? The simple fact that within the statement itself, you have two right choices insinuates that both of them are right. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, you still are choosing right.
Right, but again, even from
position defeated.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say here is that there's in the essence of free will, there has to be some ability to do something evil, right? If we don't have the ability to do evil, then the choices that we make, the correct decision, there has to be an incorrect decision to make in order for something to be considered the correct one.
Got it. Well, with that logic, if you are saying that, well, there's a reason why you would prefer your daughter not to be on OnlyFans because you would consider that evil? I would
consider that, incorrect and not...
you would consider it not good, right?
Yeah, for lack of a better word, yeah.
Okay, so like not good. So if it's the case that OnlyFans is immoral, it's basically evil, for lack of better words, it's bad, and you would prefer your daughter not to do that, but you still want her to have the choice to do it. Using that same logic, then what about murder? Should murder be legal, and should people have the choice to murder?
They do have the choice to murder. Obviously not without consequence.
Exactly, right there. No. Consequence. There we go. So we ban murder. Murder is illegal. You can't murder anyone.
Right. Absolutely.
You got it? So I'm just saying that we should ban OF because it's immoral. It's bad. We would agree. We both think it's bad.
Well, we haven't agreed that it's immoral. To say that it's not productive doesn't make it evil, right? So just because something,
I thought we agreed that it's at least bad, immoral. But now you're saying that it's not immoral. So then why do you prefer your daughter not to do it?
Well, I don't think that the word bad because it's not. I don't believe it to be constructive. So just because something's not constructive doesn't mean it's evil. So evil would be something deconstructive. Not something that is.
What do you mean by constructive?
Like basically adding to the value of a person. I don't believe it adds to the value, but I don't think that someone's value is diminished because of that.
Okay, so if so then you only want your daughter to do things that adds to her value, not keeps her value the same?
Yeah, that would be my preference as her father.
Okay. So then, like, what about video games? I don't think video games. You think video games adds to your value or decrease your value if you play video games?
I definitely don't think it decreases your value. No.
You're okay with your daughter playing video games?
Yeah, of course. Why
Okay. What
not?
about smoking marijuana?
It depends on whether it actually produces an effect. 'Cause I've seen positive and negative effects. I've seen marijuana take away value from people, and I've also seen it help people. So it really
Okay.
depends on
What do you prefer?
situation.
Do you prefer your daughter to smoke marijuana or not?
I'm agnostic to that.
Okay. You're just you. I don't know. Then you're
Yeah,
agnostic to it.
yeah. I essentially, I have, I wouldn't know. I couldn't know unless I was faced with that because I'd have to see the results. But just from a straight up like looking at it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. No, because I don't believe that it inherently takes away the value of a human being.
So
But I have seen it do that.
so
before.
basically, you're saying that OF is amoral.
What's amoral mean?
It's like not immoral or moral is like amoral. It's like in the middle. It's like it doesn't change the value of the thing, like you said.
Yeah, I would say that it doesn't. Yeah, I don't believe that it changes your value.
Okay.
So I guess that would have to be amoral then.
Got it. So look at this. I'm gonna point it out what I just said here. Playing video game. So OF does not change the value if you use it or don't use it. Playing video. Well, if you use it, OF, it doesn't change the value of the person. If you play video games, it doesn't change the value of the person. But you would prefer your daughter not to have an OnlyFans, but you would be okay for your daughter to play video games, even though it's the same thing as the OF, meaning that it doesn't change the value of the person. You see how it's a contradiction within your worldview?
Well, I don't think it's a contradiction.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think
It's a
that
contradiction.
When
I just
you
pointed out.
when you introduce the judgment and stigma of individuals like you into the equation, you don't share that same stigma and basic looking down upon whether her value changes from making an OnlyFans or not. The way that people look at her does change, and maybe I just don't want her to have to experience that. Because if she goes and plays video games, no one's going to look at her as if she's a lesser human being. But if she makes an OnlyFans, people like you will act like she has lost value. You'll claim that she's lost value, and ultimately she can be affected by that negatively, which would actually be more evil than her using her value the same way you use your value to find success.
Okay, so now coach, he's moving the goalposts. I can't score, but it's okay. I'm going to still score. So now you're saying that, well, she actually does lose value, maybe not in my eyes, but in other people's eyes, because they're going to look at her as less if she's on OF.
Well, yeah, I'm saying she doesn't actually lose any value at all, but she can, yeah, from a level of
Okay. What
how
about
other people
smoking?
see it, yeah. What's that?
What about smoking? Some people that smoke, if your daughter smokes weed, some people, a lot of people look down on other people that smoke weed. You're freaking degenerate. Why are you smoking?
Right, but that's a lot less nowadays that's a lot less stigmatized, obviously.
So that's a
And
lot
it's legal,
less
right?
stigmatized.
It's
Are you
not
sure
banned.
about that? If
Yeah,
you're
'cause
trying to get a
otherwise it wouldn't
job
be banned.
and you smoke weed, you don't think that the job is going to look down on you and not hire a weed smoker?
Well, hopefully not, because that would essentially be
You're saying
discrimination.
hopefully not, but that's not the case. There is still a stigma around smoking weed. Now, around smoking cigarettes, there's not as it can be people that's maybe not, that may not be their preference. But as far as our society, there is a stigma on weed, not on cigarettes, is not the same. So on weed, if your daughter smokes weed, she will be looked down upon. But in this instance, you're okay with her smoking weed.
Well,
Even though she's going to look down upon, she's probably not going to get a job.
Well, now
Her
that
pee gonna be dirty.
When you translate it that way, I will you have adjusted my position. You have made that clear that obviously, like I think the reason why I would say that is because I have a lot of experience with marijuana, so I'm biased when it comes to that. I don't have any experience with OnlyFans. I'm not a subscriber or a model myself. So maybe that was my bias, but when you do put it like that, there is a stigma arise. So I would prefer that she not do that. But again, I wouldn't say we should ban marijuana because I don't think that would be.
The argument isn't about ban. Currently, right now, I'm doing an internal critique on why you think that OF is amoral, meaning that it doesn't change the value it doesn't change the value of the person if they do it or not. But you just conceded, and thank you for that concession and being honest, man. I really do appreciate that. So kudos to you on that, because a lot of people have an ego and they don't like to concede on certain points when someone enlightens them with a new point. So, but with your concession, you would have to say that now, well, OF, it is actually a thing that does alter the value of the person within not just other people's eyes, but within doing the act itself. When you create an account, you prefer your daughter not to do it because it decreases her value internally and also from other people's eyes as well. It's not
I think that's a jump. I think that's a jump saying that it has to be internally as well, because as long as her or I would value if I value myself based on how others value me, then you'd be correct. But if I value myself based on the people who do love me and who do see me for who I am and how God values me, that would be very different than basing my worth on how a society values me.
I can demonstrate it. I'll demonstrate it. Now, where do you derive what's good and bad? Where do you derive your value judgment from of making a distinction of good and bad? Are you religious? Are you Christian? Or do you believe in God? What's your take?
I mean, I would say I'm a agnostic theist.
Okay, you're agnostic on a denomination, but you do believe in like God.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a God. I don't believe there's any evidence of a God, but I choose to believe that there's a God absent that evidence.
Okay. So then you are agnostic then.
Yeah, agnostic theist. So I don't know for sure, but I choose to believe absent evidence.
Absent not knowing. That's fair. There's many things that you don't know and you maybe not have evidence for that you believe in. You believe like in the laws of logic, like logic itself. You believe that that's true. You got no evidence for it, right?
Right. Fair. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah.
So we all believe in things that we got no evidence for, no empirical data for, but we believe it to be true. Like 1 + 1 in your worldview, that always equals 2, right? Even if you're not here, 1 + 1 would still equal 2 in your worldview, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So you believe in some objective truth. You believe in things without any evidence. With that being the case, I'm asking you, where do you kind of derive and make a distinction of what is good and what is bad? Because if it's the case that morality is subjective under your worldview, since currently right now you haven't really gave me anywhere to ground it because you're like unsure about things. But since you have nowhere to ground it, is it safe to say that morality is subjective? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Well, I mean, it's just as possible that morality doesn't exist at all, that some things are constructive and some things aren't constructive. Well, if morality doesn't exist at all, then truth doesn't exist, because morality posits truth. It makes a distinction of right and wrong, good or bad. And truth would be the opposite from false. So it's making positive claims. All right, so can you repeat the question for me?
Yeah. So the question is, I'm trying to really get to, within your worldview, where do you derive the good? Since you can't ground your morals in God because you really don't believe in God, I'm asking, then is morality subjective from your point of view?
I mean, I guess it has to be. I mean, there's really no other option then, right?
Yeah, man, it's really no other option for you. The other option would be, to become a Christian and ground your morality in something that's true, but that's another debate for another time. But since it is subjective,
I think it all comes down to preference. It's like if what I don't prefer, I would consider bad, right? You know what I'm saying? And what I do prefer, I would consider good.
Yes, it just boils down to your preferences. So morality is just subjective. So since morality is subjective under your worldview, then your daughter doing OnlyFans and you do not prefer that she does OnlyFans
Right.
is bad, bro. Because morality is subjective. Under your own preference, you don't prefer it. This would be bad under your own preference. So
Right, and that's
you
okay,
lost
but that
this
doesn't
portion
necessarily
of
mean
the
that
debate.
everything bad shouldn't be banned. Because under there's a lot of things I don't prefer that I can like that I like.
Okay.
I don't like. I don't prefer homosexuality. I
So
don't
now we
think that
moved
they
on a
should
little
ban
bit.
that.
Now, do you concede that do you concede that OnlyFans under your worldview is at least bad and moral? Since morals are subjective and you do not prefer your daughter to do OnlyFans, then you can concede that, her doing OnlyFans is bad.
Yeah, based on my subjective morality, I can't deny that. I concede that.
Got it. So now we got it fully across. Since OnlyFans is bad under your worldview, now we have to go on to banning what's bad. Now you're saying that there's other things that you think is bad and it's not banned, correct?
Yeah, basically, I don't think that banning things stops the effects of the bad behavior at all.
Okay. My question for you is, the things that you think are bad, the only reason, what would make you want to ban something that you think is bad? Because obviously you think murder is bad and we should ban that, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Obviously you
I guess
think
there'd be a
like
certain degree
incest
of-
is bad and we should ban that, right?
Right.
Got it. What about homosexuality? You think that's bad?
Yeah, I do.
But we shouldn't ban that.
Yeah, I don't think we should ban that.
Okay, got it. Now, as far as women, once they turn 18, going into the adult industry and becoming a OF model and selling their butthole online for a percentage of money, which then is influencing men to not become the best of themselves because they're too busy watching women's buttholes online and spending all of their fathers and money resources purchasing the butthole online. You think that that's not bad for society?
Well, no, I would say that that's like a drug addict blaming cocaine for what they do with the drug. It's like essentially if you're going to go pay to look at buttholes all day, that's your problem. The fact that
I agree.
that you have the option it's not the fact that you have the option. You can't blame the cocaine for you putting it in your nose. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect example. But with cocaine, we want to try to ban cocaine, right? Cocaine is banned. It's illegal.
Right, and I don't even think cocaine should be banned at all.
Wait, so why shouldn't cocaine be banned?
Because essentially, there's nothing wrong with cocaine other than the fact that that it's illegal and banned. It's like all the negative consequences from cocaine come from the fact that it's worth $5 over the border and worth 500 on the other side. So essentially, it becomes impossible to use in a way that is manageable.
Is cocaine not one of the most addictive drugs out there? Heroin is there, right? But that's a form of cocaine, right? So, but cocaine you sniff, but heroin you take it in a needle, so it's a more potent form of that.
Goes both ways.
What'd you say?
It goes both ways. People snort heroin too.
Well, people can snort it as well, but it's potent, meaning that it's a very addictive product, right?
Right. Yeah.
And this very addictive product, which alters your behavior, which wouldn't be conducive for the cohesion of a community, be banned?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying is like the reason why a crack whore goes and has
real quick, my bad. I lost some connection on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, we're back. Lost some connection there. Let me go ahead and repeat my last statement again real quick. Simply what I said was He was saying that cocaine shouldn't be banned, and I was stating that, well, a product that's very addictive and affects the social cohesion of a community and society should not be banned from his worldview. And go ahead, man. You was about to respond to that.
Yeah, I was saying most of the social problems, like you think about all the drug addicts who are stealing, all the crack whores who are, doing sexual acts to achieve money and get all these things. It basically comes from the ridiculous price. Like cocaine is not cheap and heroin is not cheap, but if it was cheap, like cigarettes or alcohol, people you would have some people who would go off the deep end just like they do with cigarettes and alcohol. But
no, man, look, that's crack. Crack is just a cheaper form of cocaine, and crack, it was cheaper, and people started buying. Since it was cheaper, they put it in the hood. So this is why the people in the hood and the ghettos were able to they couldn't afford the cocaine, but they could afford the crack, and the crack was more potent and it was more damaging to the communities. So if people had the money to then purchase the cocaine, let's just say that people had the money to purchase the cocaine, it would have similar or if not the same side effects of cocaine.
Yeah, but I'm saying like neither is cheap. Like you can say crack is cheaper than cocaine, but crack is still more expensive than what someone can afford.
So why wouldn't you want to ban that though?
Well, because that's what I'm saying. The ban is what's causing it to be so expensive. It's like if there's a plethora of cocaine in the world, man. But this was neither here nor there in the conversation.
No, it all goes into the conversation because you're basically, I understand your argument now. I understand it. So basically you're saying that if we ban it, it becomes more popularized because it's harder to get. Like, this is why like Louis Vuitton and Gucci is very expensive because it's expensive. It's harder to get. So if you do have and you wear Louis Vuitton, you're looked at as more prestige. That's right, the point that you're making.
So if we ban OnlyFans, basically we're increasing. Sure, there's more risk, right? But essentially, you're raising the amount of money that people are willing to pay for these things. You're making it more expensive. So on these, it actually makes it more dangerous and more incentivizing because you have this option. Of course, there's a consequence, right? But there's also, with great risk comes great reward. So a woman who would do OnlyFans when it's banned would make an incredible lot more money than she would if she did it when it was illegal. That's why drug dealers were successful and got rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this argument does not work. Do you know this is the same argument that they used in California when they were trying to get the bums off the street? They said, "Oh, the bums and the addicts, let's just give them, we don't want them to die and get AIDS from taking the wrong needles, from using one another needles, so we're going to provide them needles." Do you know that when they started providing the bums and the addicts within the cities of LA, they just created more bums and more addicts? I repeat real quick. I repeat. California tried it by using this same logic, and the logic is backwards. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical. If you make something legal, it increases. The labor in the industry increases. The demand and the product increase, the supply increases. That's all I'm saying. So the supply and the demand increases when you make something legal. When you restrict something, it does decrease the supply. That's the first thing. You make it illegal, it will reduce the supply. And over time, it will reduce the demand, because if there's no supply, the demand will start to fade away. Do you get what I'm saying?
Why has there been a heroin epidemic while there has been a ban against heroin nationally?
You said, why has there been a heroin epidemic when
why haven't the heroin numbers gone down over the last during this time period where it's been banned. Like there's plenty of more addicts.
You
So,
can't
like,
use
it should be
heroin. It's
going
always
down,
been
right?
banned.
What?
Heroin has always been banned.
Right. So why are the numbers higher today than they were 100 years ago of how many people are overdosing on heroin and using heroin?
No, if you actually look at the stats when heroin came out in the 80s and things of that sort, it was the 80s and 90s. Heroin was higher. The usage was higher than it is now. From a rate perspective, it could be more people using it, but on a per capita perspective, the rate of it is much, much lower.
So you're saying it's consistently since the 80s, since the 80s,
it's been banned.
It's going down.
You would have
less people doing heroin since the 80s overall.
It doesn't correlate. You would have to find something that was legal and then we banned it and then compare that data. Like if you look at weed, marijuana, right? Marijuana was illegal in many states, in like almost every state, and then they made it legal. When you look at that, the marijuana usage increased when we made it legal. So banning OF in these adult sites would be a net positive thing on decreasing the supply and the demand.
Yeah, I don't think that at this point banning OnlyFans would reduce the demand to see buttholes. I think if men stop wanting to see buttholes and stop valuing buttholes, then there would be no supply. There would be no supply of buttholes.
I'm not
the only
saying
reason why a woman's butt is valuable is because a man says it's valuable. Like otherwise, it has no value, man.
I got you. I'm not saying that it will fully relinquish or diminish to 0% the demand. No, we know that men like sexuality. We're always going to have a craving and some type of we have a natural proclivity within us to want to observe the sexual curvatures on a woman's body. This is why in Islam they make women wear the hijabs, right? So we know this. Humans, we understand male's nature. Within the male nature, though, this can be that demand can decrease and we can have some control over it. And we can do so by women not sexualizing themselves. And I'll tell you the effect of it. The side effect if we get rid of these adult industries, well, it's going to put women in a position where they can't take the easy route for success. They have to actually go out there and become something valuable and actually put into the marketplace and actually give in the marketplace to get back. So they got to become a doctor, become a lawyer. They got to go out there and make an honest living. And what this is going to do, the women that aren't ambitious enough to make that honest living, they're going to go out and seek good relationships with men because they can't just sell their sexuality. Not only that, men are going to look at women in a more virtuous way rather than a disdain way because she's selling her butthole online. You get what I'm saying? So I think that all forms of adult industry content should be banned. All forms of it. Like even on TikTok, if you're scrolling on TikTok right now, you can see a woman's booty. It'd be a little line in between her booty crack, but then it'd just be all cheeks shaking in the screen. That should be illegal. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I get you.
Yeah, so because all of this type of behavior and women sexualizing themselves, it is not conducive to any positive results between the relationships of men and women. It's destroying, that was my argument in the beginning, man, is destroying the relationships between men and women because these whores are sexualizing themselves, which it decreases their value. Men don't really value them. We just look at them like, oh, you're a piece of meat. You're just a sexual object. I'll smash you and then dispose of you. And then they get the carnal, most negative side. They get the most carnal, most negative side of men, basically just being used for sex. So then these women, they're 40 years old, living with cats and dogs, calling all men crap because, well, the only men that they are attracting are men that only want to use them sexually. And vice versa. The men that's going after these women, it's not anything good and healthy, man. Like, do you want your daughter to find a man that only just wants to smash her? No, you won't want that for your daughter. You want her to find a man that wants more than just to smash her, to want to provide a future for her, to love her properly and take care of her, and them have a good relationship, genuinely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do want that. And
so let's go ahead and ban it, man.
If banning OnlyFans would result in that, then absolutely I would be in support of it. But just because something's immoral, right, doesn't mean that it's best to ban it in all cases. Would you agree that, or are you willing to make that claim and stand by it, that anything that's immoral should be banned?
Okay, that's a question for me now. So anything that's immoral should be banned. I think that the things under my worldview that is immoral, yes, we should have if you do them. From my
you were breaking up. What did you say?
I said yes, from my worldview.
So from your worldview, anything that you believe is immoral, we should ban.
Yeah, like adultery, like husbands or wives cheating on one another, that should be banned, and it should be consequences, meaning that it should be some type of penalty under Christian ethics where we ban certain types of behavior that isn't conducive to what the Ten Commandments says and what Jesus Christ says. Yes.
Okay, so with that being said, what type of consequence would you prescribe?
I just told you.
No,
you're telling me for something else? Sure, go ahead.
I'm giving you a specific. So
sure.
So obviously premarital sex.
And right after this, I want to get some more people up because I've been talking with you for a while, man, and we got tons of people up. So this last question, go ahead, it's yours.
Yeah, that's perfect. So what would you prescribe as a potential law or consequence for premarital sex as you see it as being immoral? So we should ban premarital sex based on what you've told me, and that there should be a certain consequence for people who have premarital sex. Are you consistent in your logic that there should be a law against premarital sex?
Yeah, it'll be a ban on it, and it'll be consequences for it, meaning that it'll be illegal. It's just like you get like citations and a ticket for running a red light or going over the speed limit. It'll be citations and things of that sort for doing things that is against the law. You know what I mean? So there's laws for the road. I would have laws for relationships as well. So having sex prior to marriage, it'd be laws for that. And we would know. It'd be something that like a credit system that we would know that, oh, okay, your credit score just went down. And we all know that your credit score just went down. Right.
But there would be an actual consequence. Right?
It'd be an actual consequence. It ain't going to be like, oh, you get locked up and you're in prison for it. No, it isn't going to be anything like that for that. Right. But it'd be some type of consequence for it. People would know about it.
Well, then I can appreciate that you're consistent in that, and I actually agree with you more than I because it all comes across and it's all cohesive. So I appreciate you talking it out with me, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate the conversation, brother. You have a blessed one, man.
You too.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.